What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're here again with the FJ09. This is going to be episode 4. If you guys are missing some of the R1 footage, so pretty much I'm still waiting on that belly pan, and I called them a week ago and asked them, and they said it's still on back order. So the belly pan is still on order. Other than that, I mean, there's not much more we can do to the bike besides put on some really expensive parts, which you know, I think we can do later on down the road, but for now, you know, we're just gonna have fun with the bike, do some riding footage, track days. So if you guys missed the last video that I posted with my R1, I actually filmed myself riding with my 360 camera hanging off the back. So it actually looks like a drone is like following me from behind. It's a super cool angle. So I will put a link to that video in the top right so you guys can check that out. So for tonight, let's see. We're gonna be taking off the exhaust and the headers. This exhaust is completely tarnished. It looks terrible, and we need to put on something that looks a little bit nicer. We found a used Black Widow system, pretty much the same exact one, just in great shape, and the can is also black. So it's gonna look better. It's also, the header section is nice. It has that polished kind of look. So I'm stoked to get that on and get rid of this one. But we are installing this on my buddy's bike actually tomorrow. So stay tuned for that episode. He's got a XSR 900. So we're gonna be throwing this on there. He's gonna be picking it up. So we'll film that, make a little video out of it. But tonight, like I said, we're gonna be working on the exhaust, and that's pretty much it. Also, part 2, which is was released after part 3, is a kind of a controversial little episode. So if in quick summary, I don't want to give it away, but the dealership basically sold me a bike that was not in the best condition. Just in terms of cleanliness and the parts, and you know, they're a little bit run down and the fluids were bad, this and that. So I still took the bike. Basically, I was willing to, you know, make some episodes out of it and do the repairs myself. Also make some content for it. But when I got home, I noticed that there was an oil leak, and that video goes over the whole story from when I found the leak and how we got the bike back in the garage now with no oil leak and the bike cleaned up, and pretty much without any issues. So definitely check that video out. I will put it up in the top right as well, and let's get into it, guys. All right. So here are my two R bikes. They are R bikes. So there's my R6 to the left, and of course the R1 to the right. Tucked away, so we have some room to work on the FJ on the lift. But here is our Black Widow system. So here are the headers. As you can see, they're in great shape compared to what I'm about to show you. They do have a shine to it. It looks like a bronze kind of. But if you're not familiar with Black Widow, they make really good quality exhausts. So these are the headers. There's a collector pipe. It's not going to have that oil leak look anymore. And there is the muffler. So it's all black. This is all stainless steel, has a carbon fiber tip. And this is what we're going to be throwing on in place of the tarnished headers. So let me show you what those look like right now. And here's the current state of the headers at the moment with the system that is currently installed. They're just completely tarnished. They're not holding up well. I believe the owner left this bike near the ocean, stored it near the ocean, let me just say that, and it definitely tarnished these pipes. So we gotta replace these. They look absolutely hideous. And also, this is more of a preference, but the silver can will have that nice black can, so I think it's going to look better. You can also see a little bit of that mid pipe. I know the light's a little bit low, but just all around needs a lot of love, and I don't want to put the time into that. So we are going to replace it with that new system. Let's get to it. So to start out, let's simply loosen the 2 bolts on each header. So we loosened up the bolts for the headers. Now we're going to move our way back to the O2 sensor and the springs and also the muffler. So let's move on to the back. I'm going to loosen the muffler clamp with this 10mm. So now to remove the can, it's just these 2 bolts right here with a bracket and then a clamp style holder for the muffler. So it's a 12, then a 13 in the rear. So I am having to use a bit more leverage on this because it was sitting by the ocean to get this bolt out. There we go. So now we don't need that breaker bar anymore. Now with that bolt off, we should be able to slide off the muffler. Let's loosen this a little bit more. Okay, that's loose. Alright, now we got the muffler off. Now I just got to remove the O2 sensor. We're going to pull off the springs. Now we're going to take a pick, try to get the original gaskets out of there. Alright. So a little trick that you can do, we did get brand new gaskets for this install. Little trick that you can do is put a dab of grease on the corners. So I'm just going to use a screwdriver. I have some grease right here. Just put a little dab of grease on each of the 4 corners. When you push it up into the cylinder, they'll actually stay stuck in there instead of falling out every time when you're trying to fit the headers. So a little dab of grease, and that one is stuck in there. So we'll move on to the next.